trade you.
That's
Good deal.
A good deal.
What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in on today's video. It's been a minute again. We've made some progress off camera, but it was a lot of small stuff, so I'm going to kind of show you guys that. Check out this thing we got for Christmas. This is a camera stand with a little phone adapter up top. So hopefully I can bring you guys a little bit better footage as far as when we're working underneath the hood. You guys know we're going to be changing the injectors on this truck, so I'm hoping that this will work really well when we pull the valve covers off so that you guys can actually see really good into there exactly what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. So let's go over some of the stuff that we've done off camera. This video is going to be really cool. This is something that I've had in my mind for a while, and just like the oil cooler setup, yeah, it's just been brewing up in my mind. I've really wanted to do it. I've really wanted to try it. And the whole basis of everything that we're doing here is to make the truck easier to work on. And when I say that I want the truck to be easier to work on, I'm not meaning that in the fact that the truck's going to be like broken down and having all sorts of issues all the time. The purpose of it being easier to work on, my goal is, if I want to try different things, I want to be able to change these things out. Like if I want to change a different, go to a different injector size, if I want to change out my turbo, if I want to do this or that. I just want to be able to try these different things and not spend 8 hours or a whole weekend trying these new things. I can swap injectors in like 4 hours, so that's kind of the basis of some of the things we're doing, some of the things I want to try, and it just helps clean up the engine bay as well. So I'll flip the camera over and I'll show you some of the stuff that we've done off camera. So I think the last time you guys saw the truck, the radiator, the fan was out of it. We've got that stuff back in it. And as you guys saw in the beginning of this video, we drilled a hole into the top of our radiator and we installed a Vibrant Performance filler neck with a cap. Now the cap is designed for 16 PSI, so it's still going to be the factory pressure rating for the system. And it's going to work perfect. So the reason we did this is because we are going to be removing our degas bottle. We've eliminated the degas bottle. We've gone to this setup. And then from here, we still need to have some sort of an overflow or evaporation tank. And that's what we have this for. So basically, look on the bottom there, our little nipple here, we're going to have a 1/4-inch hose come off of that and go to the bottom of this. And so when the truck warms up, you're going to have, I said evaporate, expansion tank. That's what this is. This is an expansion tank. So the coolant is going to come out of there. It's going to fill into this reservoir that's going to catch any excess just from the system expanding. And then when the truck cools down, the coolant system will go into a vacuum and it'll pull the coolant back out of the expansion tank and go back into our radiator. So this is a pressurized cap. This system will be non-pressurized, and basically we'll be able to just keep an eye on our level here. This might be a little bit overkill. This holds 1 gallon of coolant. Played it safe. We got to find where we're going to mount this, so we're going to do a little bit of that today. And then, as you see, we've already removed our degas bottle. And basically, you have that little 3-piece Y that goes right here. We've eliminated that. And then all we're going to have to do, the hose kind of expands right here. We're going to snip this. We're going to lengthen this hose. And then we're just going to splice that together. And then that part should be good to go. And then our degas bottle delete is pretty much done. So, this, like I said, this is going to make it super easy. We'll be able to basically just hang out with a long extension over here and get to all of our 12mm valve cover bolts, our oil rail bolts, injectors, everything. We'll be able to do everything from right here. So it makes it really, really nice and accessible. Now, the other thing we did off camera, you can see this beautiful piece here. We have replaced our header panel. No more cracks, nothing like that. We replaced the header panel, and then we went to aluminum brackets for up front for our oil cooler and oil filter setup up front. So we're going to save a little bit of weight. We got rid of our giant steel brackets up front, went to aluminum, got rid of our cracks in our header panel, and we just had to basically just cut this piece out. I left a little bit of strength pieces in there just to help hopefully keep this thing from cracking. We had to shorten our brackets up just a little bit, modified those, and they fit perfectly. They should be a lot lighter than our giant steel ones. But yeah, just a couple of things we did off camera. And then finally, the last thing that we did off camera was, if you come in here, we have this barb fitting right here. We actually tapped that and plugged it with an 1/8 inch NPT plug. That way we don't have to have one of these caps on it. As you guys know, in the last video, the cap was deteriorating, so we ended up just tapping it, putting a plug in it, so that should work out really well. I'm super happy about that. But yeah, that's pretty much it that we have for off-camera stuff. Today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be finishing up our connection here. Like I said, we're going to pull that hose off the back. It runs along the firewall there. You can see it back there. Runs along the firewall. We're going to be pulling that off and modifying that and lengthening that hose so that we can make the connection right there. And then the only other thing we're going to be doing for today is we need to figure out where we're going to mount this thing. As you guys notice, our batteries have been removed and our trays have been removed. We might be going to a single battery setup. We might be taking both batteries and putting them in the bed, relocating them to the bed. I'm really undecided on all of that right now. It's going to make mounting our overflow piece here, our evaporation tank, a little bit easier if the batteries aren't up front. So I'm kind of undecided on where we're going to go with that. But we're going to tackle the coolant hose in the back there. We're going to get that spliced together, and then we'll start talking about how we're going to mount that. In order to remove this hose out, we have two 10mm nuts that run along the back of the firewall. So we're going to pull those off and then go from there. Let's get started. All right, so basically, with the hose out now, we're gonna cut this crimp, and this fitting should be barbed right here, and then they crimp it. So we're gonna cut the crimp off, and then I have another piece of hose, which we're gonna extend off of this, and then we'll just put a hose clamp around it. So we're gonna cut this off. All right, so as you can see, we got our pipe back there reinstalled. We have our clamp around the hose there, and then this is our extended hose that we have. Real quick, I wanted to show you guys a common failure point on 6.0s right here. You can see mine was starting to go too. It's really common for this hose to rub right on the corner of the fickum, and then eventually you end up with a coolant leak. So something to keep in mind. You know, you can do exactly what I just did on any 6.0. And then you can extend this. That's really the problem, is that this needs to be a little bit longer to make that corner. Otherwise, it sits there and rubs on the fickum. So, like I said, you know, we're doing this because we're removing our Degas bottle. But if you ended up with a leak, you could do this exact same thing. 3/4 inch hose here, and then just extend it a little bit, and then run it to the little Y that sits right here. So what we're going to do next is we're going to grab our hose cutters here, and basically what we have to do is we have to snip about 1 inch off of this. You can kind of see the hose bubbles out right here. So that's a 1 inch hose, but we have our little adapter here. This is 1 inch to 3/4. 3/4 is perfect, but our 1 inch, you can see, not going to work. So that's because when it goes over the plastic piece, it actually expands right there. So we're going to just cut that piece off, and then this should fit perfectly in there. So that's what we're going to do next, and then we'll kind of measure this hose up where we want it. You know, we'll do something like this. That way it's kind of out of the way, and then we'll combine the two. comes around. We got it close to the power steering line. Then it goes into our other line here, which goes to our front cover. So that should still allow us to have good heat, but now we have eliminated the degas bottle. Good to go. All right, so moving to what I'm thinking, or how I want to mount this overflow / expansion tank deal. If I were to maintain at least one of the batteries, I think no matter what, we're going to be eliminating that battery. I'm going to try to just go to one battery. I don't know, with electric fans and stuff, how well it's going to work. There's going to be a lot of draw on it. We might have to upgrade our alternator. Not really sure. But if we went to just a single battery here, I think if we mounted it directly behind it just like that, that would work. But then also if we removed this battery and we just put both of them in the bed, then we would have plenty of space up here as well. I really like this spot. And then basically, as far as mounting it goes, I think we'll just go directly to the fender, drill a couple holes, and just basically have an L bracket deal coming this way. 2 of them, just like that. And we can mount it on both of those holes and both of those there. Then just do like a riv nut in the fender and have it come across just like that. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I think that would be the cleanest way to do it. It does clear the hood. I don't know how, but it does. It kind of goes right into this little pocket right here. So that would work out really well. And then basically we would just run our line off of the bottom side of that, up and around, and then bring it up and plug it into our radiator. I think I like that the best. It would be out of the way. We'd still be able to get to this valve cover without having to mess with coolant or anything like that. And then we can also maintain a battery up here if we're not able to get to the relocation part of the battery. So let me know what you guys think about that spot there for our evaporation tank. Evaporation, why do I keep saying that? Expansion tank right there. I think it'll look clean whether we have the batteries there or not. I think it's going to be functional right there. I really like that spot. And so yeah, I'm going to have to fab up some L brackets. I'm going to grab some measurements for it, and I'm going to fab those up, and then we'll probably finish up the installation of that next week. So there's a lot of things happening, guys. We're going to be changing out the injectors very, very soon. We have some parts for our different turbo setup here. So we're going to be eventually putting our turbocharger setup on, which is going to be an S369 T4 setup. So eventually that's going to be happening. And then basically we just got to button this thing up. Not a whole lot more other than some of the stuff that we have already done. A couple of things here. When we get the truck to the point where we can start it and run it, we're probably going to be turning the truck around. There are some things I want to do to the back end of this thing. We might be cutting some cross members out. We might be taking away some leaf springs as well. This thing's kind of going under a little bit of a weight loss here. So, yeah, a lot of things. A whole bunch of more videos coming out, guys. A lot of exciting things happening on the channel, guys. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning in on today's video. If you are new, subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about what we did today. And I will catch you guys in the next video.